All right, America, still here with your homeboy first and your homeboy Tim G. Jacob, and this is the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game. Let's put it on something. Just to
Mm-hmm.
round up the rest of Mississippi football, if you missed our segment on Jack State and Valley, make sure you go check that out. You missed our segment on Southern Miss, make sure you go check that out as well. Okay, but rest of the scores around the SIP, Alcorn defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff by a score of 38-21. Mississippi State blew out Bowling Green by a score of 45-14. And somebody must have shown Mr. Rogers my video from last week when I said, when I posed the question, has he lost the early lead for the Connolly to Shador Sanders? Because he went out today and put up 409 yards through the air and 6 touchdowns. It wasn't a money game, America. Okay, this was supposed to be a stat game, but Will Rogers got back to putting up his kind of stats in this game. All right, and lastly, Ole Miss held off the upset bid. Okay, it was almost Lane Kiffin was almost trending, kind of like Leach was trending last week. Okay, but that was off of a loss to LSU. Lane Kiffin, sure enough, would have been trending had Ole Miss lost to Tulsa, but they pulled it out 35-27. Okay, but y'all see what I have right there, America. Y'all see what the banner says. This my brother Tim G. Jacob came out the box telling me. He said Jaxson Dart is not as advertised. T, can you elaborate on those thoughts?
I mean, it's just like watching this. It's like going to see a bad movie. Um, the saving grace has been the running game for Ole Miss, and it has been as advertised. Jaxson Dart has just not fitted in well. I could be a little bit hyperbolic by saying he's not as advertised. The young man has every opportunity to show up in the weeks to come, but it's just been running game. Now he's been a part of the running game. He had 100 on the ground today against Tulsa, but when you get into the meat of their schedule and the teams they've got to see going forward, and they've got 3 or 4 ranked opponents coming up, it's not going to be sweet. You can't do this and go see A&M or LSU or, you just can't do that. And I know it's got to be killing Lane a little bit to not be the aerial attack that he once was. It's something I know it's got to be eating away at him to have to pound teams on the ground. And so they did not score a point in the second half. Ole Miss didn't. They did all their damage in the first half, and the defense held Tulsa off. That's not a recipe for success in the SEC. It's just not going to work. That ain't going to work. So you're either going to have to do something different in terms of, and look, the two throws that Dart, the 2 touchdowns Dart had today were to Malik Heath, who is a talented receiver, very talented receiver, and Jonathan Mingo, who's a talented receiver.
Cantown for Heath. Cantown.
Malik Heath. And I mean, so is it a question of if Dart's not comfortable with the offense and the scheme and everything, and maybe he's just not as efficient because he's brand new? Or is it the fact that he's just not the kind of guy that can really go out and deal it? But Ole Miss doesn't have a lot of time to figure this out. When your next few games are Kentucky, okay, you get Vanderbilt at their place, you get Auburn coming to you, then you got to go to Death Valley, LSU. You got A&M on the road, you got Bama at your house, and you got Arkansas on the road, and then you got of course, Egg Bowl. You ain't got time. You got to get some straightening going on in your house, because if not, you could easily go from 4-0 to like 6-6 or 6-5 or whatever the case may be. So I'm just saying, Ole Miss is ranked. they were soft enough on their schedule on the front end to, get people to pay attention. But
Mhm.
these next several weeks are going to say a whole lot about Ole Miss football. And if Jaxson Dart is going to play like this, in terms of the aerial part of the game, it's not going to be sweet.
Do you think then? Let me put you on there. They asked Kiffin about his thoughts on Dart's performance today. Okay, this Clarion Ledger talk. Okay, this is what he had to say. He said, "I thought, and you'd be surprised since there weren't any points in the second half that I'd say this. With us being so heavy run statistically, I thought Jaxson played well. He was even more physical in the run game than I'd like. We tried to stop him a couple times. We ideally didn't want to run him so much, but sometimes that's what they do on the reads. And even when it's not a quarterback read, if they bring an extra guy, he's got to pull it. Okay. I thought he was good, smart with the ball. In every game, he's had one of those that you want to take back. He overthrew a guy, but poor decisions. That was good. It really was a different game once we started moving. Okay. And he goes on to say a bunch of other stuff, but you get the point. Now, is that coach speak?
Yes, it's coach speak. This is the same man that told us last year, get your popcorn ready against Bama.
That's what he told us.
Y'all remember that?
That's what he told us.
So he's not going to go out here in front of the media. And mind you now, Ole Miss was favored by like 21 and a half. 21.
So it's some upset people out there in the betting world.
I'm just saying, the betting world thought that Ole Miss was going to make this light work, and it didn't happen. So you got to ask yourself, who is Ole Miss? Who is Ole Miss? We have not seen the rushing attack from Ole Miss in the last 3 or 4 years. We don't know what this looks like. They have been through the air. You know what I'm saying? They've been by storm, not by sea. That's Ole Miss. So 13 for 24, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, 116 yards on the ground. I got it. Cool. But you ain't running Jaxson Dart up in there like that against the meat of your schedule. You're just not going to do it.
Got Kentucky next week.
You finna see. And look, full disclosure, let's look at Kentucky real quick. Kentucky had a tough one tonight against Northern Illinois. So Kentucky just ain't like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They got to come to the Grove.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Week to week, teams change faces. There ain't no solid faces in college football. Everybody face change. There's a lot of jokers in college football. Kentucky could walk out next week from that game, go to the Grove, and just Peter roll Ole Miss. Or it could be the other way around. So we just don't know. We don't know what we're going to deal with. But I do know this. If Ole Miss is trying to compete in the SEC and contend and go to a nice bowl game, 8-win, 9, 10-win season, whatever you want to call it, whatever you might project.
See, they coming off a Sugar Bowl.
Okay, well then it's Sugar Bowl or bust.
Yeah, they coming off a Sugar Bowl.
And if we gonna say that, based off what I'm seeing, they're not that. I'm just gonna say it like it is. They're not that.
It's a big statement. Okay.
They're not Sugar Bowl or bust. And remember now, when they ran to that Sugar Bowl, they ran up on Dave Aranda and Baylor, and they got Peter rolled.
Now, Cuz got hurt too, now, too.
I don't care about what Cuz did.
You know,
Corral
got hurt.
Cuz should have drank more milk. How about that? Anything else? Cuz should drink some more milk.
America, look here. Y'all chime in, let us know what y'all think. Especially y'all Ole Miss fans. Let us know what y'all think, man. What y'all thinking about as y'all get ready to go into this shit?
It's a crucial game coming up next week.
Y'all getting ready to go into it now.
Next week. Ole Miss, Kentucky, that's a big game. That's a big game.
Yeah, it is.
Either Ole Miss is gonna state to us this week. Either Ole Miss is gonna say we ain't who we was last year. We know who we are this year, and we finna show you.
See, they were a Sugar Bowl team last year. Being who they were
But I'm
last year ain't
saying
bad.
through the air though, and then they ran up on Baylor, physical, very physical, in your face, and they took a bite out of Ole Miss.
They lost the starting quarterback too. T. We
That ain't my
can't we can't
problem.
devalue that now.
That ain't my problem.
See
It's
that?
not my problem. I have nothing to do with what God does. Okay. let me be fully disclosure like right now.
God.
I have nothing to do with that.
Well, America, y'all chime in. Let us know what y'all think. Can Jaxson Dart get it done for Ole Miss and take them down through this SEC schedule and get them back to what they were last year? Sugar Bowl berth, something of that ilk.
A lot of work to do.
Do you think this nail biter versus Tulsa, which they were great in the first half, and then they stunk up the place in the second half, does that show that there are kinks or chinks, I should say, in Lane Kiffin's armor? Let us know what y'all think. Put it on something.
Just saying. God did. If you really want to get right down to it, I mean,
Thank you so much for watching my daddy's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, and turn on your post notifications. Okay, how do I do it?